Hello everyone, it's Rachel. Welcome to church this morning. Today we're going to be thinking about how God's kingdom lasts forever. It goes on and on and on and on, and it's going to be amazing one day when we get to go to heaven to be with Jesus and we get to experience it in all its awesomeness. But before we think about that, we're going to sing a song. So if you want to jump up, get yourselves ready, we're going to sing together.
Submarine, he's wider than the universe, beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. And he holds us in his hands. And he holds us in his hands. And he holds us in his hands.
Whew, I hope you enjoyed that song. Now, if you want to play those songs at any other time in the week, you can access them on our YouTube page in a whole separate video, so you can just keep playing them as much as you'd like, so that you can sing and dance and praise God at any time. Now, this morning, to get us started, I've got a question for you. I'd like you to think about, if you could create the most amazing place, what would it look like? Who would be there? And what kind of things would you do in that place? So I want you to pause, have a chat about it with each other, have a think, discuss. You might have different ideas. If you could make the most amazing place, what would it be like? Who would be there? And what would you do? So Jacob's going to read to us now from the Jesus Storybook Bible, the description of what heaven is going to be like. Now, God gave a man called John this vision of what heaven's going to be like one day. And it's the most amazing picture of the most amazing place. So what we'd love you to do is you can either follow along if you've got the Jesus Storybook Bible at home, or if you'd like to, you can lie down on the floor or on the sofa or snuggle up, close your eyes and just listen to his description as he reads those words from the book of Revelation and see if you can imagine in your mind, create a picture in your mind of the words as you hear him say them, and think about what heaven is going to be like and how that's going to make you feel.
Today's story is called A Dream of Heaven. It's taken from passages from Revelations 1, 5, 21, and 22. John was one of Jesus' helpers. He was old now and living on an island, which might sound nice, except it was a prison. The leaders put him there to stop him from talking about Jesus, but I'm sure you don't think a little thing like being in a cell, in a prison, on an island, in the middle of an ocean could stop God's plan, do you? One morning, Jesus appeared. Right there in John's cell. Jesus' eyes were bright, shining like the sun. I am going to show you a secret, John, Jesus said, about when I come back. His voice was like the sound of rushing waters. Write down what you see so God's children can read it and wait with happy excitement. Then Jesus gave John a beautiful dream, except John was wide awake and what he saw was real, and one day it would all come true. I see a throne, and on the throne is a king, and the king is Jesus. All around the throne are people bowing down. They are giving him their treasures. There are loud cheers and clapping and bright laughter like 1,000 waterfalls, and everyone bursts out singing a new song. This is our King, the Lamb who died, so we don't have to, our rescuer. All honor and glory forever and ever. And every creature everywhere, in heaven and on earth and under the earth and in the sea, joins in. And then, from all around, a wide, immense, beautiful silence. And I see Satan, God's horrible enemy, thrown down, defeated. I see a sparkling city, shimmering in the sky, glittering, glowing, coming down. From heaven and from the sky, heaven is coming down to earth. God's city is beautiful, walls of topaz, jasper, sapphire, wide streets paved with gold, gleaming pearl gates that never locked shut. Where is the sun? Where is the moon? They aren't needed anymore. God is all the light people need. No more darkness, no more night. And the king says, look, God and his children are together again. No more running away or hiding. No more crying or being lonely or afraid. No more being sick or dying, because all those things are gone. Yes, they're gone forever. Everything sad has come untrue. And see, I have wiped away every tear from every eye. And then a deep, beautiful voice that sounded like thunder in the sky says, look, I am making everything new. It was hard to squeeze all John saw into words and fit it onto a page and cram it into a book. All the words on all the pages of all the books in the world would never be enough. I am the beginning, Jesus said, and the ending. One day, John knew, heaven would come down and mend God's broken world and make it our true, perfect home once again. And he knew, in some mysterious way, that would be hard to explain, that everything was going to be more wonderful for once having been so sad. And he knew then that the ending of the story was going to be so great, it would make all the sadness and tears and everything seem like just a shadow that is chased away by the morning sun. I'm on my way, said Jesus. I'll be there soon. John came to the end of his book, but he didn't write the end, because of course, That's how stories finish. And this one's not over yet. So instead he wrote, "Come quickly, Jesus," which perhaps is really just another way of saying, "To be continued."
What an amazing description of the most amazing place. The heaven is going to be so beautiful and so perfect. And I think sometimes that's really hard for us to imagine when we're living in this world now. Sometimes life is a bit tricky and things are hard, and sometimes we get sad, and sometimes people are mean to us, or maybe we're mean to them. Sometimes we get angry and frustrated at things. Sometimes it just doesn't feel like there's much light in the darkness. But isn't it amazing that we have that picture of heaven to look forward to? We get a glimpse of it now if we know Jesus, if he's our friend, we get to experience a little bit of what that feels like. But that one day it's going to be so perfect and so amazing, and it's going to last forever. That's going to be our experience, not just on the good days that we have, but every single day is going to be like that, forever and ever and ever. And that gets me really excited and gives me hope sometimes when life is hard. And you can get the chance to talk about that and how it makes you feel a little bit later. Now, sometimes when it's hard for us to imagine, I think of it a little bit like this. If you've ever seen the back of a piece of sewing, if you have a needle and a thread and you're putting it through a piece of material to make a design, if you look on the back, often it looks really messy, and you can kind of get an idea of what the picture might be, but you can't really see for certain because all these threads have crossed over each other and they've got all in a bit of a pickle. You can't see it clearly, but then one day when you finish it and you turn it over, you get to see the completed version. And look how beautiful it is compared to the messy one on the back. This one looks great. You can see it so clearly and it looks so lovely. And I think it's a bit like that for us with our lives now and with heaven. Sometimes life is a bit messy and we can kind of see some good bits in it. We kind of get the idea that actually if we're friends with Jesus, there's some good stuff and life can be exciting and we can know his joy and his love and his grace now. But we don't get the whole picture. It's not perfectly clear and beautiful yet. But one day, when we get to go to heaven and be with Jesus forever, we're going to get to see the completed picture in all its beauty and glory. And I think that's really exciting. That's what we can look forward to if we're friends with Jesus. Now, I've got another little description to help you to maybe understand a little bit more about what that's going to be like. I hope you enjoy it. So another way to think about heaven that might be useful is like this. This is the world that we have, and in the world, some of it might be good. There's some really good stuff in the world, isn't there? But in amongst the good stuff, there's also some sad stuff, and that's like all the black bit that you can see there. And when we have the good stuff, like all these smiley faces, the good stuff shines through the pretty colours that's behind it. And you can see that, the more that we bring God's kingdom, the more that we bring his light and his life and his hope and his peace and his joy, whatever's going on in the world around us, we get more and more glimpses of what his real kingdom, his perfect kingdom, is going to be like. And that one day, that's what heaven will be like. We get glimpses of that here on earth now, but it's not going to be until that day when we get to go to heaven to be with Jesus and we experience it for ourselves that we'll really get to see the full picture of heaven. We'll see not just the snippets of the light and the colour and the amazingness of Jesus shining through like we do now, but it's, there's still the dark stuff now. One day we're going to get to see the whole thing and it's going to be amazing, and we'll get to see the whole technicolor of glory and of majesty and of Jesus's light and his life shining, and we'll get the whole thing. Now, I hope that's been really helpful for you to start to understand a little bit about what heaven is going to be like, how amazing it's going to be one day. Now, we've got some questions that we would like you to think about. Maybe you've already got some questions from all the things that we've talked about already. They're going to come up on the screen, so if you want to press pause, you can talk about them together as a family, and then maybe you'd like to pray together. That would be really wonderful. Don't worry if you haven't got time to answer all your questions now or to finish all your conversations. You can carry on later, maybe over lunch or the rest of today. You can carry on talking about what this is all about for you. Okay, so I hope that you had some good conversations and you'll continue to have some good conversations for the rest of the day. We're going to leave you with a craft that you might like to try, and there's going to be a colouring sheet as well that you can access. Maybe later today, if you've got time, you also might like to spend some time thinking a bit more and reflecting quietly. Can I suggest that you could play the song I Can Only Imagine? You can search for it on your music player, get it up, press play, and use that as you listen to the words to think about how you imagine heaven's going to be like, and the glory and the majesty and the splendour and the beauty of Jesus when we get to meet him and be with him forever there. So you can try that the rest of today or maybe later in the week. Do some colouring and continue your conversations about heaven. But now I'm going to leave you with a craft that you can do together, and I'll see you again for church next week.
Hi everyone! Today we're going to be doing a collage. Now you can find this on Facebook and online. It's this piece of paper. It says, "I am making all things new." So it starts off all blank, and what we're going to do is stick lots of different fun colours on top of it to make a lovely collage. So you'll need a pair of scissors, you'll need some glue, and then you'll need something fun to stick on it. So you could use some wrapping paper. If you've still got Christmas bags or labels, you could use some old labels. You could use some different vouchers or things that have been put through the post. You could use some old recycling, anything you can find around the house which your parents or people looking after you have finished with. I've used a fruit and grain box and some Colgate. Or you could use just something completely random which you find in your house, like I randomly have a big bag of straw. Whatever you find, you can stick on it and you can make it look amazing. Now, once you have cut all your pieces up and have it all ready to go, you can then start picking a piece up. You can glue a side of it and you can stick it on. This is my finished piece. When you've finished yours, why don't you post it on the Young Families page on Facebook or the Belmont page on Facebook, and we can show everyone what we've been doing on our Sundays. And there's another thing you could be doing if you don't want to do that. We also have this really fun colouring sheet. So all you need for this is to print this piece of paper off, some nice colouring pens, and to colour it in however you like. On it, it says, "Death will be no more, mourning and crying and pain will be no more. See, I am making all things new." And that's from Revelation chapter 21, verses 4 to 5. Have fun.